This is Mike Roth. Welcome to the Open Forum in the Villages podcast. In this show, we're going to talk to leaders in the community, leaders of clubs, and interesting folks who live here in the villages to give perspective of what's happening here in the villages and information that I think all villagers should have. We hope to add a new episode most Fridays at 9 o'clock. We are making a change soon. All of our shows will be distributed by a single podcast syndicator, Buzzsprout, both the old shows and the new show. We are also changing our subscription plans. Now you will be a supporter by simply making a subscribing via Buzzsprout. You can make a contribution of any amount that you'd like. We'd suggest $3 a month. If that's too much for your budget, you can pay less, or if you're really enjoying what we're doing and want to see us continue, you can pay more. This is going to be a subscriber-supported podcast. We are making this conversion to make it easier for everybody. And all of the subscriber-only episodes that were available on Apple Podcasts will now be converted to the Buzzsprout channel, and everyone can go ahead and listen to those. Henry, welcome to our bonus episode where we're going to talk about how to take a great photograph. And let's start with the proposition that you've been out with your digital camera, you shot 50 or 500 or even 1,000 photos, and now you're ready to go back home, sit down with your computer and look at the photos. Tell us how you, first of all, when you're shooting photos, how big are they in pixels?
Megabytes might be the way to look at it. Yeah.
Megabytes, yeah. Okay.
A normal image will be above 40 megabytes on my camera.
40 megabytes per picture.
Per picture.
Okay.
It's big.
And a typical cell phone is going to get a picture of in high resolution mode, 4 or 6.
Yes, right.
Megabytes.
Right, yeah. So these cameras these days pack a lot of power.
Mm-hmm. And how much does someone have to spend who wants to get into good digital photography or a good camera?
I use Canon,
mm-hmm.
and the latest one that I know about is R5. And if I remember right, that ran about $3,000, and then you have to get a lens for it. And good lenses are going to be $1,000 to $3,000, and then you need filters and a few other things you can get, tripods, et cetera, et cetera.
Tripod.
So it's not cheap, but
so you're going to get into it for $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, I think you could. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you got these 1,000 photographs you took out of wildlife. How do you do your post-processing?
Mm-hmm. I use Adobe Lightroom as my primary software, and then there's an add-on called Topaz. It has 3 different versions. One is a gigapixel. So let's say you take a picture of a scene, and the bird that you want, you had to zoom out to get it, but and the bird is a small part of the total 46 megapixels. So you crop that in. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's going to lower the resolution when you try to blow that up to make a piece of wall art or whatever. Sure. So then you need to be able to fill in the resolution, and then so you use software like Topaz will fill in the blanks as you.
It'll fill in the missing pixel dots that are.
Yep, and it does a fairly good job. So what I do initially is I'll take the chip off the camera and upload it to my computer, and I'll just look at them, let's say 100 pictures at a time, and I'll bring them into, in this case, Lightroom. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go through quickly, bad, X. Then go, and then if you see really good ones, I'll give it a star, 2, 3, 4 stars. And then I'll go back and delete those. And then you just keep doing that until you get through your 800 pictures that you took that day. And then now you have your maybe keepers.
So you maybe have how many out of 1,000 that you keep?
That you're going to actually work with.
Yeah.
Maybe 20, 25.
Okay, so you're down to a reasonable number.
Yeah, that you can work with.
That you can fix and get them to as close to perfection as you think.
So yeah, then you bring them up and look, and then like I may have said earlier, but I'm looking for a story in the picture. I'm looking for something that's
okay. You
going
found the
on.
story that you like.
So, and then depending, first thing you have to look for is focus. You got to make sure that the focus is correct where you want the focus to be correct.
Mm-hmm. Can you fix it?
You can't fix the focus, but you can adapt it. Let's say if you abstract the picture, the image, if you go black and white, if you do different treatments, you can maybe enhance the focus. So I look at all those things, and then I pick out, where I kind of want to end up from an art standpoint. Do I want the finished product to be a very accurate representation of this, let's say, bird in nature that's flying across the pond, and the wings are just perfect, and you can see the distances between the feathers and everything. The eyes are like sharp, and you just want to recreate that bird in nature with a perfect wing. So that's an example. Or if you could do some kind of let's say somebody has a room that they want a certain look to, or what a feel, or a certain color, or whatever. You say you can adapt or interpret your image into some type of an art that will accentuate a certain color or certain backgrounds, or black and whites. And there's all different types of treatments that you can do to end up with something that somebody might want.
You mentioned earlier before we started the session that not only can you use local software on your local computer, but you can also use online software.
Yes, yeah. So the industry is advanced to this point, as we all know, to kind of a subscription-based business models. So a lot of this software now, instead of you buying a DVD and uploading it or whatever, you'll get it online, but they're not just downloading the software and then that's it, and then you got to wait for updates. Now the software is on a cloud, and so and they're constantly upgrading that software on the cloud, and you're just a subscriber. So when you log on, you're actually communicating with the software, not in your computer, but on a server someplace. So and
that would be Adobe.
I use Adobe, yeah. I mean, there's lots of different products out there. Of course, Adobe has their basic software is called Lightroom, which is it's fairly easy to learn. And most recently, they're adding what they call presets, where you can take a look at what your image would look like with various adaptations to it that somebody else kind of thought up. It'll analyze it and say, well, you might think about this, that, and you can work through 20 or 30 different options to start with.
Sure, I've seen that on some software.
Yeah, so I mean that's the way I do it.
Google used to have a online software for photographs. Are they still doing that?
Where you can store them?
Store them and improve them?
Yes, I don't use them. But I mean, everybody's into that game now.
So there are more than one good vendor to look at.
Yeah.
So give me two others that people should look at besides Adobe.
Let me think now. Well, of course, Apple has their own software programs that you can use for your editing. Your Apple iPhone has editing software. But if you really want to get into probably Photoshop is the most advanced and most well-known. And then they work down from there.
Photoshop is available online on the subscription basis, the same way Microsoft Office is.
Yeah, so Adobe has a thing called Creative Labs that has a suite of these software programs that you can use depending on what you want to do. And included in that suite is Lightroom and Photoshop.
How expensive is that a month? Round numbers.
I'm going to guessing $15 or something like that per month.
So it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Almost anyone could afford that. You've taken a lot of pictures of birds and wildlife. People, I guess, in India. What do you like best about the hobby of photography?
What I like is, especially with birds, there's a lot of movement and a lot of things going on in nature that most people miss. You're looking, but you really don't see everything that's going on. What I love about my hobby is that I know there's going to be some great pictures and some beautiful images, but you don't really know until you take the chip out and you open it up. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like opening Christmas presents. It's like, wow, that's really good. Oh, and then I can't wait to get to the next one. So I find myself sitting at my computer at midnight, and my wife is saying, when are you coming to bed? And I say, I just want to get through this last batch because I just think there's going to be something even better. And it's fun.
Good. Why don't you tell our listeners again about this online store for your photography that they might use for their own photography if they thought it was good enough. How did you discover it?
Oh, I made a couple of attempts thinking that, my images are fairly popular on Facebook, and I get quite a few compliments. And then I discovered, and I didn't even know this, that you can now get pictures printed on metal, mm-hmm. on aluminum.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Okay, so I kind of tripped over that because I had done online shopping with uploading my pictures to make canvas pictures for my house, and I have those hanging on the walls. And then I can't remember. I found out about this company that makes aluminum, where they inkjet the picture, and they're so detailed, and just incredible pictures. So then I started buying those. And then I found out that I could have a commercial account with that company if I wanted to, mm-hmm. and get some little bit of a discount. And then one thing leads to another, and then I found a company that would help me because, like I think I mentioned, I used to fly airplanes. Mm-hmm. So I was never, and I flew ultralights, but I was never interested.
Well, there's something dangerous to talk about.
Yeah, I did it for 20 years, but I was never interested in building the airplanes. Mm-hmm. They're kit planes. I like to fly the airplanes. So the same way with the photography, I want to take the pictures, even though I do my own editing, it's not my favorite thing except for discovering things. But as far as online stores and stuff, I was looking for a company group that could help me create this without me trying to figure it all out.
Figuring out how to do a store online.
Yeah, it's not as easy as people think it is.
Right. It used to be impossibly difficult.
Exactly.
Now it's only difficult.
Now it's difficult, but so I, retained some people to help me, and we've just come up right now with our stores that we just opened up. The main one is Fine Art America, and it's very easy to get to. It's just my name, Henry Kuhlman, HenryKuhlman.pixels.com, and that'll take right to my store. We just uploaded the first 5 pictures. You can take a look at them. I think they're pretty good. Mm-hmm. And by the way, this Fine Art America company, they will print your picture like you've seen at Shutterfly or whatever, on pillows, on posters, on
or a bunch of pictures in a Shutterfly book.
Yeah, so they can do all of those things for you, relatively inexpensive. So I have a store there, and then I also have a new store on Etsy, which is, let me see if I got it. It's etsy.com/shop/wallartbynature. And then that'll take you to my Etsy store, which basically has the same products.
Why did you do 2 stores?
To increase my brand presence. So different people go to different stores. Etsy's fairly well established, fairly well known. Yet this Fine Art America is they also will promote your storefront a little more than Etsy does. And so a combination of that and my marketing program, of course, includes Facebook and Instagram, and there's going to be a Twitter, and I'm getting help with all of that. Mm-hmm. And if it works right, my wife will do most of the admin work.
Sure, you want to use your time behind the lens, right?
Yeah, I take the pictures.
Yeah. You got to snap them. That's an interesting concept, and in round numbers, how much do you think you might earn in a year from the photographs online?
I think about $500,000 conservatively.
And there are other people.
Do you believe that?
No.
I have no idea.
Okay. So what did they tell you other people online in their photography store are earning?
First of all, I'll say I'm not doing it for the money. I'm retiring the villages, and I'm doing it to see if I can do it and to see if I can get it to work. And if I make enough to cover the cost of my equipment, I'll be happy, but you never know.
I knew that had to be in there.
You never know. I mean,
you'll need a new $10,000 camera.
Oh, yeah. I know the money will be spent. No, I don't have, I mean, I just want to see how it works. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I had one other odd question for you. You've been taking pictures, digital pictures, for a lot of years. And have you ever gotten to post where you're looking at the pictures you've taken and discover something in the picture that you didn't know was there?
Yeah.
And what is the oddest thing you've ever discovered in the picture?
I don't know if I can tell this on the air or not, but...
Well, we can rate the show X.
All right. So I'm in China.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the Tiananmen Square, right outside of the Forbidden City.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice sunny day, and I think it was a weekend. A lot of Chinese were there. Of course, Mao's the building where his body is.
Mausoleum's there.
It's right next door, and there's the line is all lined up.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese people to go see that. And I'm taking these pictures, and there's these cute little Chinese kids and all that out there, and all of a sudden I'm taking this picture, and it's a good picture, and I get it back, and I open it up, and I didn't know it, but the little girl had kind of squatted down. She had a red dress on, and she had it pulled up, and she was taking a leak of sorts right on the Tiananmen Square. And then I looked out, and there's these little wet spots all over the place, like polka dots. And these Chinese kids, that's just the way they do it. And so then that particular picture, which I couldn't use, of course, because if you really zoom in, there's a lot to be seen in that picture.
Faces.
Faces. So that might be an example of something that is captured that
you didn't expect. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Henry.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone for listening, and go out to one of Henry's two stores. Just give us the name of the store again.
Yeah. One is henrykuhlman.pixels.com, and the other one is etsy.com/shop/wallartbynature. One word.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us, and we'll be back next week with more informative folks and information about the villages. We are making a change soon. All of our shows will be distributed by a single podcast syndicator, Buzzsprout, both the old shows and the new show. We are also changing our subscription plans. Now you will be a supporter by simply making a subscribing via Buzzsprout. You can make a contribution of any amount that you'd like. We'd suggest $3 a month. If that's too much for your budget, you can pay less, or if you're really enjoying what we're doing and want to see us continue, you can pay more. This is going to be a subscriber-supported podcast. We are making this conversion to make it easier for everybody. And all of the subscriber-only episodes that were available on Apple Podcasts will now be converted to the Buzzsprout channel, and everyone can go ahead and listen to those. Remember, our next episode will air live Friday at 9 a.m., or should I say pre-recorded, but that's when it'll be released on our regular subscriptions. Bonus subscribers can get early access to episodes. Should you want to become a sponsor of the show, contact me at mikeroth@rothvoice.com. If you know someone that you think should be on the show, send me an email at mike@rothvoice.com. I want to thank everyone for listening to the show. The content of the show is copyright by Roth Voice 2023, all rights reserved.